Good morning, everyone. I'm Jim Donovan.
And I'm Jan Carabeo in for Janelle Borrell today. Thanks for joining us. We have a lot to get to today. First and foremost, it is a next weather alert day, so we're checking in with meteorologist Kate Bilo and on traffic with Chandler Lutz. Good morning.
Good morning.
I made it in before the rain. I was
so did I. That was nice for us driving in.
But wake up and see that big wall on the radar.
Yeah.
Just got to beat it in.
Yeah. You can't say the same for everyone else right now. Of course, the wet weather moving on in. We already have an accident on 95, and a lot of overnight construction, as you can imagine, is clearing ahead of schedule.
It makes sense. Yeah, it's raining cats and dogs outside our studio right now. We've been listening to it hit against the rooftop, and maybe you're waking up to some of the same wherever you are this morning. It is a next weather alert morning. This will likely end, if not by noon, even sooner, because storms are moving through rapidly. They are producing gusty winds and very heavy downpours. Let's take a look at what's happening right now as we take a look at our next weather radar. You can see that squall line of storms moving through, but as anticipated, these storms were stronger off to the west. At about 3 o'clock in the morning, we had severe thunderstorm warnings issued for Lancaster, Berks County, Montgomery, Chester, and right up into the Lehigh Valley, even with the wording that a tornado was possible. Luckily, we did not have any tornado warnings as this line moved through, and now it's starting to weaken as it moves into the Philadelphia area. It is still raining at a very, very heavy clip right now in the city. We do have frequent lightning, and especially down across portions of northern Delaware as we take a look at our triple sweep here. Lots of lightning with these storms. Right now, very heavy downpours just poised, moving through Old City, moving now across the bridge. So on the Ben Franklin, on the Walt, it is pouring, and it's moving into Gloucester and Camden counties, and very heavy rainfall here where you see the red shading over much of Newcastle County as well. Delaware City up toward Newark, lots of lightning accompanying these storms. Visible satellite not showing much of anything just yet, but what I want to show you is this. This is a severe thunderstorm watch. Now the watch for Philadelphia and southeastern Pennsylvania goes just until 5 o'clock. A new watch was then issued, including all of South Jersey and all of Delaware. That one goes until 8 a.m. as the storms continue to move east. So the good news is for Philadelphia and points west, this will likely be done by about 5 a.m. after we get through 8 a.m. down the shore, and then we start to dry out in the afternoon. Right now, as you can see the rain in the background here, it is pouring. That has dropped temperatures briefly to the 60s. The wind is gusting as well, north right now at 12 miles per hour. And as we go through the next couple of hours, these storms will continue to push east, weakening as they hit some more stable air down the shore. And we may see a little redevelopment midday down the shore as well, but looking like we're going to dry out as we go through the course of today. So again, warm and steamy, maybe a pop-up storm this afternoon, and then we've got sunshine for the weekend. I'll take you through the other things to know coming up in just a bit. But Chandler, I'll send it over to you.
Looking forward to some sunshine this weekend. Thank you, Kate. Well, right now we start off with wet conditions out on the roadways, and as I mentioned, already seeing a crash here due to the messy weather moving on in. You could start off in Bucks County, 95 northbound, just before Street Road. This is the scene here. We have that left lane blocked and police already on scene, as well as another vehicle blocking that far right shoulder. And just a moment ago, I did see someone walking through the highway here, so across the lane. So just take it very slow here, very dangerous. As you can tell, it's dark out there still. We have wet conditions. You're experiencing ponding in some areas, spray from other vehicles. So just keep in mind, again, northbound lanes blocked right by Street Road. Also, we'll switch to the southbound lanes. A construction zone still at play here right around Bridge Street. This is the only construction zone left on 95 though. As you can see, 2 lanes are still able to get by, but 1 lane is blocked on 95. And moving through KOP, wet, messy weather here, and 202, of course, remains blocked northbound near Henderson Road and Solon Boulevard. 1 lane southbound is also closed, Jim.
Time right now is 4:43.
Checking back in with meteorologist Kate Bilo. It is a next weather alert day, and you know it's really coming down when you walk in the studio and you can hear the rain pounding on the window.
Yeah, and I was just looking at the camera and seeing flashes of lightning over Center City. So you're seeing it behind us on our monitors here. It looks very similar to that outside this morning. We've got storms rolling through. The only good news, if there's any good news, is that they are moving pretty quickly. So far we haven't seen any reports of flooding, and also we're getting the bulk of this over with before the morning commute really gets underway. So we'll be able to assess whether there's any ongoing flooding before people start to venture out this morning, which is good news. So if you're tuning in, if maybe you woke up to a crack of thunder outside your window, good morning. We do have a severe thunderstorm watch in effect for the entire region. It's actually 2 separate watches, but it's the same it's the same thing. It's just 5 a.m. for southeastern Pennsylvania, 8 a.m. for New Jersey and Delaware. An indication that after 5 a.m., most of southeastern PA will be in the clear from this line of storms. You can see it moving through through, hitting some more stable air. So this area to the north that just moved through the city is actually weakening a little bit. Right now, the strongest storms we have are moving over portions of Maryland, and these will eventually target Delaware and likely portions of South Jersey. So in this area, South Jersey and Delaware, that's the area most likely to still see some isolated severe wind gusts with these storms over the next 1 to 2 hours. We also do have some rain back building. So this is not like a line of storms that comes through and then it quickly clears out and dries out. There is still some rain on the back edge of this, but it has already ended here in Berks County. We're seeing the heaviest rain right now shifting into Camden and Gloucester counties. So our nearby New Jersey suburbs, if you're in Cherry Hill, if you're in Gloucester City, down toward Deptford, any of these spots seeing some pretty heavy downpours out there right now. So Haddonfield, Morristown, if you're just waking up and getting ready to get on the road, maybe give it a few minutes. It's moving quickly, but the heaviest rain is falling for you right now. Also, Salem County, right around Salem and into portions of Newcastle County, Delaware, from Route 40 down toward Middletown, intense downpours and lots of lightning. Take a look at some storm reports. We're getting reports in as the day goes on, and we have one here in Montgomery County, right around North Wales. This was at 3:46 this morning, a large branch down at Morris Road and West Point Pike. So if your drive takes you that way, you may want to avoid that area. Thunderstorm wind damage in Upper Euclid Township. This was at 3:02 this morning in Chester County. A tree reported down on a house there. Taking a look at 3-hour rainfall totals, the heaviest rain fell over Berks County. Now, of course, this was an area that had flash flooding over the weekend, but does not look like enough to cause basically additional flooding in this area. It's looking like about 2 inches of rain, though, came down just south of Reading here this morning as those storms moved through. They are now moving a little bit faster. So the biggest impact on your plans is early this morning. That morning dog walk not looking great. Storms may linger down the shore a little bit longer, so we're going to say a moderate impact if you want to have lunch on the beach. In the city, I think it is pretty quiet, and then looking pretty good for any afternoon pool time. Maybe a stray pop up here or there, can't rule it out. Dinner on the deck, no impact at all today. The day gets much better as it continues, and coming up we'll talk about some really good news for weekend plans. I know Chandler has some weekend plans, but this morning Chandler, it's looking messy out there.
Yeah, Kate, definitely some tough conditions to kick off our Friday morning. We'll start off on the Ben Franklin Bridge. You can see raindrops across our cameras, a very wet Ben Franklin Bridge in our distance. You also cannot make out a single building in our Philadelphia skyline, so dicey when it comes to the visibility as well. We're also seeing just the lightning in the distance every now and then in this camera. So take it slow as you travel out here. Luckily, all overnight construction has cleared from the Ben Franklin Bridge. Crews only had 1 lane open overnight, but they cleared that construction zone for the work week at 4 o'clock this morning. Also keep in mind on Sunday, the Ben Franklin Bridge will close from about 6 to 8:30 in the morning for the annual charity bike ride, the Bend to the Shore event. So again, that will be closed for about 2 hours on Sunday morning, just the Ben Franklin Bridge. Let's talk about the rails this morning. Slippery, so utilize extra caution heading to the platforms. A number of SEPTA bus routes delayed due to operator shortage issues, as well as the Morris and Essex line on the New Jersey Transit. That's some of the trains coming departure from Dover are canceled. Also, PACO, a special track work schedule will go into effect not until later on tonight at about 11. Jen, back to you.
I'm hoping it's just a phase, our inclement weather days, though it's not.
I have never heard this song before, but it is perfect, and I'm going to download it now because do you download songs or just add them to Spotify? That's what I'll do. It is inclement weather out there today, and it is a nasty start to the morning. The good news, this is moving through pretty quickly. The bad news, it's going to be with us for at least the next couple of hours, especially if you're east of Philadelphia or points south. Certainly Delaware getting hit hard right now. You can see this line of storms rumbling through. It was very, very strong as it moved into our far western suburbs. It has now weakened. We had severe thunderstorm warnings. We do not currently have any warnings in place. That's always a good thing. However, these storms are still pretty nasty. Lots of rain and lots of lightning, neither of which makes a storm severe, by the way. Severe storms are damaging wind, large hail, or a tornado. So these storms are not severe. However, they are producing intense downpours. And you know what? Our short-term models are not really handling it too well, but you can kind of get the picture based on timing. 5:30 this morning, we will expect to see some storms crossing through South Jersey, clearing the coast, but this front is still kind of hanging nearby. So I am concerned that a few storms could try to redevelop, especially throughout the shore points right through midday. After about 1 o'clock, Looks like this is offshore, and while we can't rule out a pop-up later on this evening, most of the day looks to improve, and you will feel a reduction in the humidity as the evening goes on as well. So starting your day with storms, then we clear out, so your evening commute will be more sun glare issues than storm issues. 83 degrees out there today, and your 7-day forecast looks a whole lot better. After the storms clear out of here today, we're going to drop that next weather alert by midday. The humidity goes down. We start tomorrow morning in the 60s. That's going to feel refreshing. And look at Sunday morning, 65 degrees to start the day. Very low humidity this weekend. Sunshine both days. There may be a few passing clouds early tomorrow, but for the most part, it is a great stretch of weather. And even into next week, looking relatively quiet. Nothing more than a pop-up shower or storm, maybe by Wednesday or Thursday as highs climb back to the 90s. But look at that weekend, Saturday and Sunday. That is our bonus for getting through a messy Friday morning. Jan and Jim, back to you.
We need a break. Thanks, Kate. From the heart of Philly, this is CBS News Philadelphia. Now at 5 o'clock, radar tells this story, pouring rain in parts of our area. Meteorologist Kate Bilo is tracking where these storms are heading next.
Today is Friday, July 21st. Good morning, everyone. I'm Jim Donovan.
And I'm Jan Carabeo in for Janelle Burrell today. Thanks for joining us. We got to get right to our next weather forecast. It is a big day, and you've been tracking the very latest step by step of the way.
It just ran in.
I know. Yes. Well, these storms are moving quickly,
They
so
are.
we have to kind of adjust the radar to show you exactly where the heaviest is falling. And right now, it's over portions of Delaware and South Jersey. And we're going to check in with Chandler and figure out exactly what's going on the roads out there today as well. Take a look. We are sweeping over to clouds and radar right now. It's a busy morning. Things are going a little crazy right now, but we are not seeing currently, at least in our area, any severe thunderstorm warnings. I do have to tell you, though, there is one in eastern Maryland, and that line of storms is poised to move toward Delaware. So let's take a look. Again, clouds and radar right now showing this line of storms just moving east of Philadelphia, so it has calmed down in Center City and north and west suburbs. This is the warning area right here over eastern Maryland, and this whole line is pushing into Delaware. So our triple sweep kind of shows you where the heaviest rain is falling right now, where the most lightning is located, and right now it's over Newcastle County, Salem County, right up into Camden and Gloucester counties. That's where some very heavy rain is falling right now as we sweep the area, Washington Township up toward Gloucester. Further to the south, this is where we've got a lot of lightning. So from Delaware City toward Lower Alloways Creek, and now moving into portions of Cumberland County, very heavy rainfall as well. We are under a severe thunderstorm watch. This is until 5 a.m. It just ended for the city and points north and west, and they did allow that to expire. They did not renew it, which is good news. That means the severe threat has ended for Philadelphia and points north and west. Until 8 a.m. though, still under this severe thunderstorm watch for South Jersey and Delaware. And this box you see here, that's the severe thunderstorm warning for that line of storms moving through eastern Maryland and targeting southern Delaware and possibly South Jersey next. So we will be continuing to track that line as it moves east. Once again, storm impacts today. The biggest threat with these is actually the heavy rainfall, especially because the ground is so saturated in the wake of this past weekend storms. Heavy rain is going to be our biggest threat today. Damaging winds, still a low but possible risk for severe winds. That's why we're under the severe thunderstorm watch. A watch means it's possible. A warning means it's likely happening at the moment. Damaging winds are still a possibility, especially in Delaware and extreme South Jersey as that second line goes through. Large hail and a tornado not out of the question, but likely not going to happen today. It looks like these storms are weakening a bit as they move in to just a little bit more stable air. So these storms will be with us throughout the morning. You can see 5:30. We can see another round headed down the shore, and then this front is still hanging out nearby. So as we go through mid-morning into the midday time frame, another round of storms may try to fire up here right along the coast, basically from New York City right on down to the Delaware beaches. We could see storms trying to linger until about noon, and then we clear it out and the humidity will begin to drop. It'll be a very noticeable drop in the humidity level as we go into this evening and certainly for the weekend. So kind of a half and half day. Your morning is starting off very wet. You're going to wake up this morning. If you're north and west of the city just waking up, you've already missed the worst of it. The storms have already moved through, and we will clear it out as we go through the day. Our high, a cooler 83, thanks to lingering cloud cover for much of the morning and that rain-cooled air. Coming up, I'll break down a good weekend to look forward to. Chandler.
Looking forward to that. Thank you, Kate. But this morning, a tough drive out there if you're out here early on this Friday morning. We had an earlier crash on 95 in Bucks County that just cleared away, but we're still following this construction zone actually from overnight here. 95 southbound right at Bridge Street. You can still see a lot of activity here. 2 lanes are able to get by, but 1 lane is blocked. Again, this is as you make your way southbound by Bridge Street on 95. Everything else across 95 has cleared when it comes to overnight road work as well as incidents. So that's some good news. We'll head out to Kennett Square here. A downed tree has Route 1 southbound partially blocked between Union Street and North Mill Road. Traffic is still able to get by. You're not seeing any major delays just yet, but just be mindful of that. We're going to see a lot of debris in the roadway. We're going to see down trees, down wires. Just be extra cautious of that. Also following a new accident along 295 southbound just after Route 45. That's right around exit 24 in the Westville area. 2 lanes there are currently blocked, and overnight construction remains on the Turnpike southbound between the Black Horse Pike and 322. The right lane is closed. This should wrap up momentarily as we know the wet weather moving through this area as we speak.
All right, time now is 5:08.
Meteorologist Kate Bilo is here with another check of your next weather forecast, and it's a busy morning.
It is a busy morning. The storms are now moving into Delaware, especially, and South Jersey. So if you're just waking up, if you're from the city on north and west, we've already been through a severe thunderstorm watch. It has been allowed to expire. The threat for severe weather from the city on northwest has ended at this point. However, we still can't rule out a couple of pop-up storms or even just some lingering rainfall here through the morning. Now, as we go into South Jersey and Delaware, this is where the severe thunderstorm watch, it was the second one that was issued that goes until 8 a.m. and that does include coastal waters of the Atlantic Ocean and the Delaware Bay. This box you see right here, that's a severe thunderstorm warning. So just a quick refresher, a watch means conditions are favorable for something to occur. A warning means the thing is actually happening. And right now we do have severe storms moving through portions of eastern Maryland. And this line, this southern branch, I should say, of the line, you can see it's a pretty well-defined squall line coming through. This southern branch where dynamics are just a little bit better for strong storms, that's the area we'll still need to watch here throughout the next hour or two. Right now, live sweeping radar showing the threat for severe weather is mainly off to the south, but you can see there is still some lingering heavy rainfall right now infiltrating portions of Chester County, now sweeping into Delaware County as well. Further to the south, a lot of lightning, and you can see there's that severe thunderstorm warning, which does include eastern Maryland, and this line is heading quickly for Kent County, Delaware. So if you're in Dover, if you're in Milford, within the next 30 minutes to 45 minutes, expect this line of gusty storms to move through your area. That severe thunderstorm warning for Maryland goes until 5:45. So after that, we'll be watching again southern Kent and Sussex counties in Delaware. Heavy downpours now moving through portions of Camden, Gloucester, Salem, and Cumberland counties. You can see one very heavy round moving right now into northern Cumberland County, Deerfield. So if you're traveling along 55 or 47 there, you're going to find some slowdowns. As we go through the morning, this line will continue to weaken as it heads toward the shore points. Likely the shore will see it about 7 a.m. Can't rule out a few more storms blossoming around noon, mainly along the coast, but then we do dry out and we clear out. Just a marginal risk for severe weather after 8 a.m. I think by noon that threat really diminishes, and then we've end to look forward to. So morning storms in Philadelphia. Scattered storms may linger a bit longer down the shore. Morning storms for the Lehigh Valley. Most of those are ending, and here's the best news. Dew points very, very high across our area as this front comes through, but much drier air. Dew points in the low 60s to the west, and that low humidity moves toward us for the weekend. I'll have your weekend forecast coming up in just a few minutes. Jem and Jan, back to you.
Welcome back to CBS News Philadelphia. It is a next weather alert day. I want to get right to meteorologist Kate Bilo. Really is important to have that next weather alert right now, Kate, because you're getting everybody ready as they get ready to hit the roads on their morning commute.
That's right. You're waking up on a Friday, getting ready to head out, or maybe you're waking up and packing up the car and trying to head down the shore for the weekend. You have to watch out for these storms moving through. They have already passed through southeastern Pennsylvania. So the severe thunderstorm watch that was issued last night for the area has now been allowed to expire. That's Philadelphia and points north and west. Further to the south and east, though, these storms are not done with us just yet, and not at least for the next couple of hours. You can see this line of gusty storms moving through especially portions of Delaware and extreme South Jersey. So Salem County, Gloucester County, but especially eastern Maryland right now. That's the area getting hardest hit. And this box you see here is a severe thunderstorm warning just off to the west of our area. But this line still has yet to pass through Delaware and South Jersey and will likely produce the threat for some scattered severe wind gusts as it moves through. And you can see the shading there. That's an indication of very, very heavy precipitation, very heavy rainfall right now over portions of northern Cumberland and Salem counties and portions of Gloucester County as well. Taking you through the day, here's what's complicated. This line of storms moves through, but this is not the actual cold front. So the line moves through, then a warm front's going to try to lift in here mid-morning. And as that does so, it is going to cause the dew points to rise once again. So we're not going to feel that drop in humidity and a drop in temperature immediately. The problem is if the dew points rise and we get any sun here by mid-afternoon, there will be at least the possibility that a couple of storms could still pop up. Best chance looks to be along the coast, but you can't really rule out the threat for a stray shower or thunderstorm this afternoon, even near the city, before the actual cold front sweeps through this evening. And once that happens, the winds switch and we are going to start to feel much lower humidity. So some strong thunderstorms around the area. They've just pushed south and east of Philadelphia, but you can see some clouds around 9 a.m. And then again, can't rule out an isolated shower or storm this afternoon. The question is, how much instability are we going to be able to generate? Basically, with the rain coming through this morning in the clouds, that should stabilize the atmosphere. Not sure if we'll get any storms going, but just want to mention the possibility as you plan your day. By 6 p.m. the sun is shining. The afternoon looks really nice. You can see that brief rise in the dew point again. We're not going to feel the lower humidity, at least in our area, until later on this evening. That's when that drier air begins to sweep in. Dew points drop to the low 60s. Remember the threshold. Anything over 60, you're going to feel it. Anything below 60, comfortable. And tomorrow afternoon, we've got dew points around 50 degrees. It is going to feel fantastic for your weekend. So here's your weekend forecast. Doesn't get much better than this. Mostly sunny, low humidity, morning lows in the 60s, afternoon highs in the mid to upper 80s. Seasonable, but dry. You're not dodging thunderstorms for once this weekend. And we start to heat up again next week. Chandler, I'll send it over to you.
Thank you, Kate. Well, this morning, of course, we have those messy conditions for this early Friday. You can see here wet weather moved on in through Belmar here. Our camera right on 295 or on 42 at 295. Definitely starting to heat up in that northbound direction, seeing some more traffic out there, folks. They are just taking it slow. Allow a few extra minutes as you travel to your destination this morning. And as Kate was saying, if you're traveling to the shore points late this morning, early afternoon, just be mindful of some wet weather moving through as well. So let's get to a few incidents we're following here in Westville on 295 southbound just after Route 45. That's exit 24. A crash is now pushed off to the shoulder, so all lanes are getting by. And overnight construction is set to wrap momentarily on the Turnpike southbound right near Route 322. Also up in the Trenton area, we have a disabled truck on Route 29 northbound right at 129. That's also off on the shoulder. And due to the messy conditions here, 495 speeds restrictions are in play. Speeds are set at 55 miles an hour for the entire stretch of 495. Jim, back to you.
From the heart of Philly, this is CBS News Philadelphia. Taking a live look right now from the mobile weather watcher. This is what you can expect as you head out the door and hit the roads this morning. The good news is that some of the rain appears to be moving out.
Still a bit messy in other spots, though. Good morning, everyone. I'm Jan Carabeo.
And I'm Jim Donovan. Meteorologist Kate Bilo is here now with a check of the next weather forecast. Messy morning.
It is messy. You know, the strongest storms have already cleared the city, but it is still raining. And it's raining in Chester County. It's raining to the north and west. So even though the severe threat has ended, it's still going to be a wet start to your morning. And further to the south, we've got still the threat for some strong thunderstorms. You can see where that line is right now. This is a 3-hour loop. So when this line started to move in Lancaster and Berks County, even in Chester, Montgomery County, it was severe. We had severe thunderstorm warnings, and we did have reports of some trees down, wind damage across parts of Montgomery County, especially, and Chester County and Berks County this morning. Now we're starting to see the intensity of most of these storms weaken just a bit, although there are still a couple of areas to watch, namely this cell right here over portions of Salem and Cumberland counties. You can see right here just poised to move through Vineland and right down into eastern Maryland, where we do have an active severe thunderstorm warning. I want to zoom in on this line first because it's closer to our area. If you're waking up this morning in Bridgeton, you're likely waking up to quite the light show from Mother Nature. Lots of thunder, lots of lightning, and very, very heavy rain. As we zoom in, do you see these silver areas? What this is an indication, a radar indication that some hail may be falling, because what radar does is basically measure the size of the raindrop, or what we call a hydrometeor. It can be a snowflake, a hailstone, a raindrop, and if it's large enough, it will register as hail. So there is possibly possibly some hail falling with this cell. If not, it's just incredibly heavy, large raindrops. Tons of lightning as well right around Pittsgrove. And again, this is moving very quickly toward Vineland and Millville. You're up next. We also have this line extending back into Maryland, where we're under a severe thunderstorm warning. This goes until 5:45 this morning, and that line will eventually push into Kent and Sussex counties in Delaware. And the line is slowing down a little bit as well, so we are going to be concerned perhaps about a greater possibility, a greater likelihood of flooding as that line moves east. We're under severe thunderstorm watch, not Pennsylvania, but all of South Jersey and Delaware in this severe thunderstorm watch until 8 a.m. You can see the rain that has fallen are some of our heaviest cells here over Berks County. Anywhere you see the yellow is an indication of upwards of an inch. So over Newcastle County into portions of Salem County, likely over an inch has fallen, and earlier today in Berks County. The storms did come through pretty quickly for Philadelphia. We could see a couple of pop-ups, possibly even later this afternoon. It does not look like there's going to be quite enough instability to generate the threat for a lot of thunderstorm activity later on, but you can see around noon through about 2 p.m. as the actual cold front moves through. Can't rule out a couple of pop-up storms. I think the best chance is east of the city, and then we start to dry out. And this evening looks beautiful with dropping humidity and the sun coming back, and it looks like a really great weekend. That's the good news. I'll take you through that coming up in just a few minutes. Let's send it over to Chandler.
Thank you, Kate. Well, this morning, even though we had messiest of the weather move through where the Schuylkill Expressway, but right now we are talking a big accident that just happened. Of course, we are still dealing with wet conditions, spray from other vehicles, ponding on the roadways, and a number of downed trees, down wires from the storm that moved through. This is the eastbound direction right at Conshohocken. Take a look at this. Just one lane is able to get by. Again, eastbound as you travel into the city on the Schuylkill Expressway right around the curve here. A very active scene. Hard to make out what happened. We can see one vehicle. Looks like it went right into the median here. Emergency crews along just behind them too. So delays starting at about the blue route right now as you make your way east on the Schuylkill right toward Conshohocken. Elsewhere, 95 southbound right at Bridge Street. This is an overnight construction zone, believe it or not, that still just has one lane squeezing by. That left lane's open again on 95 southbound right at Bridge Street interchange. Everything else along 95 has cleared. Elsewhere, as you travel to Kennett Square, a downed tree here along Route 1 southbound. It's between Union Street and North Mill Road, partially blocking the roadway, but traffic is still able to get by. Jim, back to you.
Well, time right now is 5:38.
Meteorologist Kate Bilo is joining us again with another check of our next weather forecast. It is an alert day, but sir, there is some improvement in some places out there, Kate.
Yeah, so far north and west, we've seen the storms roll through. These areas are drying out. I will tell you, I just saw a flash of lightning on our camera in Center City. So even though the heaviest of the storms have moved out, there is still some lingering rain, and there is still enough instability that we may see some thunder and lightning still within the next couple of hours, even in the city. So let's take a look at that camera now. You can see it's starting to brighten up just a little bit here. It is 68 degrees right now in Philadelphia. That is a cooler than average temperature, at least as far as what we've been seeing lately, but that is some rain cooled air. When rain falls, it does tend to cool the air, at least briefly. It is still very humid out there. Dew points are kind of matching the temperature. 66 degrees is the dew point. Here's a look at what's happening right now. So again, you can kind of see how these storms are back building a little bit. We're not seeing storms so much as just a band of steady rain moving in behind the main squall line, that line of thunderstorms that rolled through our north and west suburbs earlier this morning and now pushing through our south and eastern suburbs. Want to zoom in on a couple of spots here. This cell is probably the heaviest in our region right now. It also has a ton of lightning with it. This is extreme eastern, that little notch of eastern Salem County into portions of northern Cumberland County, impacting southern Gloucester County as well right now. And then this extends down this same line down into portions of northern Kent County in Delaware, where we're also feeling a lot of rain and seeing a lot of lightning. Even further to the north, look at the colors here. You're seeing some pretty steady rainfall still over Center City, Philadelphia, and across much of Delaware County. So travels on the blue route this morning. It is raining. You'll need the windshield wipers at a pretty good clip here. We do have the rain, and even a few strikes of lightning cannot be ruled out. But again, the steadiest is further to the south, where we possibly even have the threat for a little hail. If not hail, it's very, very heavy rain. So you probably want to wait this one out. This line has slowed down a little bit. It moved through the city pretty quickly, which is good news, but now it's starting to slog as it moves through Delaware. We do have this warning for portions of eastern Maryland. We'll see if that line retains its intensity as it moves east. As of right now, no severe thunderstorm warnings for our area, but we are under a severe thunderstorm watch. That means conditions are favorable for severe storms to form. That goes until 8 a.m. for all of New Jersey and Delaware. And you can see so far rainfall estimates over an inch in parts of Delaware, parts of Berks County. Anywhere you see that yellow-orange shading, an indication that about an inch has fallen. Through the morning, we'll continue to see storms move through the shore points. It does then clear out. The question is, could we see a few pop-up afternoon storms if we get any sunshine out? We'll talk about that possibility and what happens for the weekend, which is a whole lot nicer than this, coming up. Jan and Jim, back over to you.
It's next weather alert morning. Kate, I made it in before the rain and all of a sudden the skies opened up.
Yeah, the skies are definitely opening up now, Jim. We all kind of sneaked in here before it really started coming down. If you're in Pennsylvania, we have seen the worst of the storms come to an end, but it is still raining across especially Delaware and Philadelphia counties. What I want to tell you, the latest news we have, a latest breaking weather update here is we have a new severe thunderstorm warning. That's that cell I've been showing you over Salem and Cumberland counties. It has gone severe, enough to prompt a warning for damaging wind and the threat for some large hail. So you can see what we're looking at right now. Here's the line that has been coming through all morning. We do have rain kind of building on the back edge of this, which could lead to the risk for some localized flooding. But right now, the strongest storm we have in our region is this one with a severe warning for it. And this is just about to move into the Vineland area, eventually toward Millville. We've been showing you this because it's been radar indicated that some hail may be falling with this storm and possibly some severe hail. Also, damaging winds are possible now that we have that severe thunderstorm warning, especially right over Rosenhain and Pittsgrove right now, headed toward Norma and very, very quickly going to move over Vineland. It has a ton of rain. Look at the lightning. You can see these active lightning strikes popping up as the storm moves east. The threat for that dangerous cloud to ground lightning will continue to move east as well. So here is your severe thunderstorm warning. This box highlighted does include portions of Atlantic County as well. This storm is moving to the east. It's until 6:30 this morning for portions of southern Gloucester, Cumberland, Camden County, and also portions of Atlantic County as that cell continues to push eastward. And again, it's for damaging wind and the potential for some large hail. You can see the rain has intensified a bit, even on the back end of these storms. Not so much a storm, but just heavy downpours right over Chester. So concerned about spots like the Chester Creek, possibly the Darby Creek, could lead to some spillage on the banks there and lead to some localized flooding. As that storm, that cell continues to push south, we have seen the severe thunderstorm warning that was in place for Maryland. That has now been allowed to expire. It has not been renewed downstream, so it does look like those storms are weakening. But this cell right here moving over Cumberland County, again, is our strongest. And as we go into the 6 a.m. hour, that will likely start to impact the shore points. So if you're in Atlantic City, if you're in Margate, if you're down even into portions of Cape May County, you will likely see that cell move through again within the next hour or so. In the afternoon, we can't rule out a pop-up shower or storm. And this is getting kind of in the weeds here, but I'll show you why. This is what we call CAPE, or fuel for thunderstorms. It's basically instability. And right now, the greatest instability and through the next hour is off to the south. But watch how this kind of builds. As we go through the morning, still with high dew points, we will have enough fuel for thunderstorms to fire up through about 11 a.m., noon, especially down the shore. As the afternoon goes on, the thunderstorm fuel really falls apart, and that's when we clear out and dry out. And so that's why there's still a marginal risk of severe weather right through late afternoon across South Jersey and even near the city. It looks like the best threat is going to be east, but it is something to watch out for later this afternoon. So your morning dog walk, high impact here. Lunch, especially on the beach, a moderate impact from storms and even a minor impact possibly for that afternoon pool time. Looks like you're good to go for dinner on the deck. Much nicer weather heading our way for tonight and for the weekend. I'll have that full 7-day for you coming up in just a bit. Let's send it over to Chandler, see how the roads are shaping up with all this rain. Hey, Chandler.
Kate, it's very busy out there. We start off with a multi-vehicle accident causing some big delays for the Schuylkill eastbound this morning. This is as you travel into the city. The scene right at Conshohocken. One lane is all that's getting by. An accident involving a vehicle. It looks like it went into the median here. Emergency crews are all behind it, so just one lane is able to get by. It's that far right lane open in the eastbound direction of the Schuylkill right at Conshohocken. Now the delays, they're pouring back to about the Blue Route this morning, and you're even starting to see a Gaper delay in the westbound direction. So already a tough start, not even 6 o'clock in the morning for the Schuylkill Expressway. 95 northbound, late running construction remains here at Bridge Street. Now if you remember, overnight we had a lot of construction, the debris from Tasker Avenue. We had a few lane restrictions there, but this is the only scene 14 that's still around. Again, it's northbound just after Bridge Street, and you're starting to see a delay at about the Betsy Ross Bridge as you travel toward Bridge Street in the northbound lanes in 95. Also checking in on South Jersey, a bit busy here. Of course, you have those wet, messy conditions. Just be extra cautious. You'll need a few extra minutes for your drive in this morning. But the good news is that earlier crash we were following on 295 in the Westville area has now cleared. Jim, back to you.
Good morning, everyone. Thanks for joining us.
Let's get right to the next weather forecast with meteorologist Kate Bilo and traffic with Chandler Lutz. Good morning once again, ladies. Very busy morning.
Yes, a lot happening as we just saw the mobile weather watcher stuck in a standstill on the Schuylkill eastbound. There's a crash right around Conshohocken, and just the crashes just keep flooding.
Oh boy.
Not a good start to a Friday morning. Yeah, we had the storms roll through the city, came through early, but it's still raining. There's just back end rain that just will not quit, even around Center City. And we do have one severe thunderstorm to tell you about right now. This is over portions of Cumberland and Gloucester counties, headed for Atlantic County. So again, let's take a look. This is a very active look at next weather radar. Where you see the pink, that's a severe thunderstorm watch. That means conditions are favorable for severe storms to occur. Where you see the box, that golden box there, that is a severe thunderstorm warning. That means a severe thunderstorm is happening likely at the moment. And that is, again, the area that we're kind of focusing in on right now as this line of storms continues to sag south and eastward. You can see right now the heaviest rain we have is right around Vineland, with a lot of lightning as well, down toward Morris River and over the Delaware Bay back toward Dover. That's the leading edge of this line of storms. Let's take a look at what we're seeing right now. Where you see that silver tone, that is an indication of either very large raindrops or the possibility of some hail. We'll see if we get some storm reports from this area indicating that any hail fell, but otherwise it's just incredibly heavy downpours leading to the risk for flooding. Here's the problem. This storm is moving northeast at about 15 miles per hour. So we track this out, but what I also want to mention is when the storms came through the western suburbs this morning, they were moving at 30 or 35 miles per hour. They kind of blasted through quickly, but now this line has slowed down, and that is going to increase the risk for some flooding. If you're in Bluebell, you're seeing this right now. If you're in Buna, 613, Buena Vista, 618, Folsom, 630, Hamilton by 643. This storm will be over you, and the severe thunderstorm warning goes until 6:30 this morning. And again, very heavy rain and lots of lightning extending back toward Dover. And it's still raining in the city of Philadelphia as well, raining at a pretty good clip right along the Schuylkill and the Blue Route through Delaware County. Even though the storms have moved east and the severe thunderstorm watch has ended for this region, the rain is going to slow you down, and Chandler has more on that. It's a slow go out there this morning, Chandler.
It is, Kate, and the accidents just keep coming in. Keep in mind, we still have very wet conditions out there no matter where you're traveling. In Delaware, we have speed restrictions. In PA, we have that rain still steadily falling, wet roadways, ponding on the roadways, as well as spray from other vehicles definitely out there. There's a new crash you can see in the distance here, the police lights blocking the one lane, the left lane of 95 southbound just before the Blue Route. Just came into our reports here in Delco. No major delays just yet, but again, this accident just happened here, and it has that left lane currently blocked in the southbound direction of 95. We'll switch to the northbound. We have this incident here. An overnight construction zone still out there, has one lane squeezing by Bridge Street, and the delays pouring back even before the Betsy Ross Bridge. And lastly, that accident on the Schuylkill eastbound that we've been following here right at Conshohocken. Jans, the delays already back to the Blue Route.
Now to a live look outside from our mobile weather watcher along I-76 East.
You'll need the wipers today, to say the least. You can see rain coming down there for a very messy morning commute.
You can hear the rain in Ross's live shot with that umbrella.
Absolutely.
I mean, it's coming down pretty heavy outside right now.
It is coming down very heavily. This is very similar to what we started our day with on Wednesday. Heavy downpours and scattered strong storms. Now these have moved, the storms at least have shifted to the south and east, but the rain is still hanging around at least for the next couple of hours near the city. So we are in a next weather alert at least for the first half of the day here as these storms move through. Let's take a look at Philadelphia right now. It's a pretty ominous start to the day. The rain has been falling. We had some pretty gusty thunderstorms move through the city right about 4:30 in the morning, and now it's just mainly some steady rain. You can see it's looking kind of hazy and again very ominous looking outside in Center City right now. Here are three things to know for today. The storm threat and the rain threat is mainly just this morning, although as we head through the midday time frame, there will be some clearing, but also still the chance for a stray pop-up shower or storm, especially along the coast. It's later this afternoon and this evening that you'll start to feel the humidity drop, and that humidity will will stay low through the weekend, which is some great news. But we got to get through this morning first. Here's a look at what's happening right now. The big picture, we've got a severe thunderstorm watch. That's the pink. A severe thunderstorm warning. That's the orange. And this is the line of storms that we continue to track this morning. The strongest storm is here over portions of South Jersey, but this line moving through Delaware also quite strong. Now, they have canceled the severe thunderstorm watch for a few counties, including Newcastle and portions of Gloucester, Camden, and Salem counties as that severe storm continues to move east. So if you're in those areas, no longer under a watch. However, we do still have heavy rain, frequent lightning, and a severe thunderstorm warning right now, basically right over Vineland, extending into portions of northern Atlantic County. That's the strongest cell in our area. Could produce wind gusts in excess of 60 miles an hour, as well as some very heavy, blinding rainfall and dangerous cloud to ground lightning. That warning goes until 6:30 this morning. Coming up, we'll time out when these storms move on out, and I'll show you some much better news for weekend plans. Jim and Jan, back over to you.
I mean, it's just the skies opened up a few hours ago, Kate.
Yeah, we had these nasty storms roll through the western suburbs at about 3 o'clock this morning, and now moving through our eastern suburbs, where we still have a severe thunderstorm warning and a severe thunderstorm watch. Where you see the pink, that's a watch. That is still in effect through 8 a.m. for all of our shore communities, Burlington County, Ocean County, all of Delaware. The watch has now been canceled for areas north and west, where you see even Camden and Gloucester counties. The watch is canceled, which means the severe threat has ended, but it is still raining. And we do still have this one severe thunderstorm happening right now over portions of over Cumberland County, right around south of Morris River. It kind of has built to the south. So this is the area in a warning, but it looks like actually the heaviest rain and the most frequent lightning is just a little bit further south. Wouldn't be surprised to see a new warning issued a little bit further south here. But again, right now we have a warning until 6:30 for portions of Gloucester and also Cumberland and Atlantic counties. This line now extends back into Kent County, Delaware. So just south of Dover, we've got very heavy rain and frequent lightning with that one. And it is still raining further to the north and west. Again, the severe threat has ended, but the rain has not. Live sweeping radar showing it is still raining at a pretty good clip in the city and right back into Chester and Delaware counties right now. So travels on the Turnpike, on I-95, on the Blue Route, you're going to have some serious slowdowns, not to mention the Schuylkill Expressway. Rainfall estimates, again, we mentioned how the storms came through the city and north and west suburbs a little bit more quickly and now have slowed down. So we're seeing some heavier rainfall estimates based on radar here, an indication that over an inch, possibly near 2 inches, has fallen right here along Route 40 there in Salem County, 1.7 inches just west of Vineland. So this is going to lead to the concern for some localized flooding or at least some ponding out there. And we cannot rule out even a pop-up isolated storm through midday. Best chances from the city on east. Then the evening gets progressively nicer. The humidity drops, and take a look at your next 7 days. Much better than today. After our next weather alert will expire this afternoon, we've got sunshine, lower humidity for the weekend. Next week steams up a bit, but it looks pretty quiet. Maybe a stray thunderstorm chance here or there. Chandler, I'll send it over to you.
And that will be a relief. Thank you, Kate. Well, this morning we've been talking about a few major accidents. We'll start off on the Schuylkill Expressway. Lanes reopened after a temporary closure in the eastbound direction to move the multi-vehicle accident from the left lane off onto the shoulder here. You can see a tractor trailer is involved in this crash. So again, lanes are back open. Still just that left lane is all that's getting by, but at least it's no longer closed. But the Schuylkill eastbound, this is the scene right around the Conshohocken curve. We're talking delays all the way back to Route 202. And if you're traveling into the city right now and looking to take the Schuylkill, well, check out that travel time. It'll take you about 45 minutes to travel that 12-mile stretch. Usually this reads about 13 minutes at this time. You can see the westbound direction, not bad. It'll take you only 15 minutes to travel that same stretch westbound. Also, we're following overnight road work still in the northbound lanes of 95. This is just after Bridge Street. All that's getting by once again is that one lane there, that left lane, and the delay starting by the Betsy Ross Bridge. Take a look at this travel time. It'll take you about 28 minutes as you make your way from the Vine up to Woodhaven Road on 95 northbound. Slowest right by the Betsy Ross Bridge. Southbound, though, the good news here, at least that same stretch will only take you 14 minutes into Center City, Jim.
Thank you, Chandler. From the heart of Philly, this is CBS News Philadelphia. It's a next weather alert day, a live look at a very active next weather radar as severe thunderstorms move across our region.
And this system could make for a messy commute. Our mobile weather watcher is heading out there. That weather watcher is out and about, giving us a real-time look right now at conditions on the road.
Morning, everyone. Thank you for joining us.
Let's get a check on the next weather forecast with meteorologist Kate Bilo. She has been tracking the storm as it moves through our area. You were saying, Kate, that the worst of it is done in Philly, but now we're tracking severe weather in Jersey.
Yeah, we do have an active severe thunderstorm warning in South Jersey right now, especially if you head down into Cape May County and Cumberland County. Right now is the worst of it as we speak. So let's talk about what's happening outside. Again, if you're just waking up, here's what you need to know. Let's run it down here. The severe threat has ended for Pennsylvania. It is still raining, but the severe weather threat has ended. There are still some heavy storms and even one severe storm in New Jersey and some strong storms in Delaware. And these storms are slowing down a little bit. We may even see the storm chances or a little bit of lingering rain, at least right through midday today. So this is not getting out of here all that quickly. Let's take a look at our live sweeping radar and you can see what we're looking at right now. We've got some pretty steady rain where you see the yellow and orange here from basically Philadelphia, Montgomery County, right on down through portions of South Jersey. It is still raining steadily, but this one storm is the one we're watching. Now, this is a little further south. If you were with us just about 10 or 15 minutes ago, I said I wouldn't be surprised to see them issue a warning. They issued it about 10 seconds after that, and now there is this active warning for a cell that is just to the south of a cell that had a previous severe thunderstorm warning up near Vineland. This one closer to Millville and headed east at about 20 miles per hour. So this warning is for portions of Atlantic, Cape May, and Cumberland counties, basically from Morris River headed toward Dennis, headed toward Estelle Manor and Corbin City, and eventually toward the coast. This goes until 7 o'clock this morning. And you can see where you see this kind of silver outline, that's an indication of possible hail. If not hail, then extremely heavy rainfall, picking up on those large raindrops or possible hailstones. We are seeing active lightning as well starting to fire up. So right now, Hestown down toward Halberton, that's where the heaviest rain is falling. We do still have some heavy rain still back building. So the main line right now getting hit pretty hard. Portions of eastern Chester County and through Delaware County, extremely heavy rain slowing you down. Even though the severe threat is over, the threat for rain and ponding on roadways is not over. And here is our active warning where you see the pink. That's a severe thunderstorm watch, which will go until 8 a.m. Cannot rule out another warning here or there. They're kind of shaving it back as that storm moves east. Coming up, we'll track that storm and tell you where it's headed next. And also, we'll tell you about some much better news as humidity drops for the weekend. Chandler, how are the roads looking out there?
Kate, it's a messy start to our Friday here. We still have that rain out there, the wet conditions on the roadways, and a number of accidents. We'll start off on 95 in Delco here, southbound just before the Blue Route. Hard to see with the incoming traffic here, but just in this corner around the bend as you travel Delco, there is a crash that has the left lane currently blocked. No major delays in this area, but again, one lane is closed traveling south on 95. Checking in the northbound direction, we'll head toward the city 95 northbound just after Bridge Street. This is the scene here. They're actually doing emergency sewer repairs. They've been working here since overnight and only one lane is able to get by the northbound direction of 95. Delays back to the Betsy Ross Bridge. Also only one lane is squeezing by the Schuylkill eastbound as you travel into the city. This is right around the Conshohocken curve from an earlier accident that temporarily closed all lanes. Delays here starting at about the Blue Route. And lastly here, I want to note for Mass Transit, Jersey Transit's Riverline service is currently suspended due to flooding this morning. Jim, back to you.
A live look this morning at conditions outside on the road from our mobile weather watcher. Live now along Market Street heading eastbound. Storms are making their way across our region. They have been all morning long.
These are quick movers, though, Kate, aren't they? I mean, they're not hanging around a long time.
Yeah, especially when they came through the city and nearby suburbs. They were moving at a good clip, about 30, 35 miles an hour. They have slowed down a little bit here over South Jersey, so they're kind of sitting in one spot just a bit longer, dumping some heavier rainfall on portions of Salem County, portions of Cumberland County, and eventually toward the shore points. But this is an area that is not at as great of a risk for flash flooding as our north and west suburbs, where we've had more rain and the ground is more saturated. So far, no flood warnings, no flash flood warnings. We do have a severe thunderstorm warning active, though. So let's take a look. We'll start off with a live look outside at Cape May. Now, this is an area that has not really seen any rain this morning, but the shore likely next up. We've got storms moving in just off to the west. So if you're down the shore, probably don't want to hop on that bike and go on a 20-mile bike ride this morning, because we are going to be seeing storms shortly. Looking pretty overcast and ominous as we look live at Cape May this morning as storms start to push toward Cape May County. Right now, just starting to creep in. You can see one active warning. That's that orange box here. Where you see the pink, that's our severe thunderstorm watch. So this started out for the whole region this morning. It has been scaled back as the storms have moved east. and you can see they are continuing to do so right now. So here's the strongest storm. Look at this little big cluster of lightning, I should say, frequent lightning here over eastern Cumberland County, pushing into Atlantic and Cape May counties. That warning goes until 7 o'clock this morning, and the warning is for wind. The warning is for wind gusts over 60 miles an hour. But there is some indication that some hail may be falling with this storm as well, where you see that kind of gray shading there. It's an indication of very, very large hydrometeors. A hydrometeor is basically anything that falls from the sky, a raindrop, a hailstone, a snowflake. And when you're detecting those larger sizes, it's often an indication that we're seeing some hail. Here's the timing on this. Warner's Mill 6:43, Corbin City by about 6:52. Then as we head toward the 7 o'clock hour, this cell will likely be over Marmora at about 7:13 and eventually Egg Harbor at 7:19. We'll see if this retains its severity as it continues to move east into some slightly more stable air down the shore. It is still raining at a pretty good clip as well. You saw our footage from the Mobile Weather Watcher in the city where the rain is continuing to fall. We still have a pretty decent amount of rain falling, even though it's not severe. It is rain, and this is right at that busy interchange of 76 and 476 right around Radnor, Conshohocken. Here's the rest of the morning. This cell, this heavy storm that we're seeing over South Jersey, this line really, will continue to move east and head off the coast by 9:30. A couple of lingering showers possible. There is the chance, though, that a couple of little pop-ups are going to form this afternoon as the actual cold front starts to move through. So can't rule out a stray storm around 4:30 or 5 o'clock. Looks like the best chance is east of Philadelphia. Then coming up, I'll tell you about a drop in humidity and some really nice weather for your weekend plans. Jim and Jan, back over to you. Let's talk about the forecast today. You're not going to be running very far if you're trying to get away. It's a slow go out there. Everything is very, very wet. It is still raining in Center City right now, and you can see we've got the roads are glistening. It's very wet, very slow. Lots of ponding and road spray out there this morning. We have not heard any reports of any actual flooding happening in the area, which is good news. We're seeing some of the heaviest rain now shift to the south. Very heavy downpours right now on the back end of this squall line, basically over portions of Salem and Cumberland counties. But the worst of it right now is still over portions of South Jersey and Delaware. This leading edge, this line of storms that rolled through the western suburbs around 3 or 4 in the morning, came through quickly. It's now slowing a bit as it moves toward the shore point. So you can see this is not moving very quickly, leading to these prolonged thunderstorms, which are dumping heavy rain and bringing frequent lightning. Just a light show right now over much of Atlantic and Cape May counties, especially the western parts of those counties. And also the indication of possibly some hail or some very heavy rain falling right along the border there of Cape May and Atlantic counties. And this is all headed quickly for the shore point. So basically, if you're in Ocean City, Atlantic City, Sea Isle, this is headed your way. The Garden State Parkway and the really the Atlantic City Expressway likely very, very slow right now with all that rain and all the lightning happening right now. Severe thunderstorm warning for this particular cell goes until 7 o'clock this morning. And even once that warning expires, we still could see the risk for some strong gusty winds capable of bringing down tree branches or doing some minor roof damage here and there. Further back to the west, even in the city, northeast and northwest Philly, and right on up into Montgomery County, it is still raining at a very good clip. So here's the timing. As we go through about 7:30, 8 o'clock, those storms will cross the shore point and then move out to sea, may linger a bit until about 10 or 11, and then we dry out for a time. But we are still going to see some instability. If the sun comes out, we may even see a few pop-up storms later this afternoon because the actual cold front associated with this system is not coming through until this evening. So you can see we've got just a quick look at thunderstorm fuel, basically. Instability, this is what we're looking at. Once this first line goes through, it falls apart. But once the sun comes out this afternoon, notice how we generate just a little more fuel, a little more instability, enough that a storm could try to pop up later this afternoon. So planning your day, it looks dry by about 10 a.m. Can't rule out an isolated thunderstorm chance around 1 p.m. and then drier for the evening as the humidity drops. Our next weather alert will end and the weekend looks absolutely beautiful. Great weekend to get outside. Chandler, will send it over to you.
We will take that. Yeah, it's a tough start to our Friday. A lot happening out on the roadways. Let's get right to it. 95 northbound just after Bridge Street, emergency storm drain repair. They've been working here since overnight, and now with the heavy morning volume is starting to cause a delay in the northbound direction of 95 just after Bridge Street. Now the delays start really around Cottman Ave as you make your way northbound toward Bridge. It'll take you 41 minutes, a heavy travel time for the northbound direction 95 from Center City up to Bucks County. Elsewhere, the Schuylkill Expressway right at Conshohocken, that eastbound crash is now cleared, but not before it caused a big delay, pouring back to the Blue Route still. And a new accident to tell you about as you travel South Jersey, 42 right at 295. In the southbound direction, a crash is off to the shoulder as you approach 295. And as the messy weather moves through South Jersey, we have a flooding scene along Route 130. We are currently closed at the Brooklawn Circle, Jim.
Let's get a last check on traffic and weather together.
It is a messy morning out there, and right now the shore is about to get hit or getting hit right now. I want to take you out to Ocean City, where just a few minutes ago we had people out running, jogging on the boardwalk. Now these ominous dark clouds are moving in. Hopefully these people are running to try to get home and get off the boardwalk, because there is a lot of lightning with these storms. We currently have a severe thunderstorm warning, which includes the shore points, Atlantic City down toward Cape May, and a severe thunderstorm watch for that area as this line moves east. Chandler.
Yeah, Kate, very messy conditions to kick off our Friday. We've been following this emergency storm drain repairs on 95 since overnight, and it just has one lane getting by the northbound direction at Bridge Street. So the delays starting at around Cotman Avenue. Also, as you travel Route 130, a lot of flooding in South Jersey. The Brooklawn Circle is closed.
A lot of headaches out there. Chandler, thank you. CBS Mornings is next. And for those of you watching us streaming on CBS News Philadelphia, we will continue with local news.
Remember to join us each weekday morning here on CBS Philadelphia starting at 4:30 a.m.
Have a great day.
Bye-bye.
From the heart of Philly, this is CBS News Philadelphia. Good morning, everyone. I'm Jan Carabeo. Let's check in with our next weather alert with meteorologist Kate Bilo. Kate.
Thanks, Jan. We still have some heavy storms rolling through the area. There's a severe thunderstorm warning for Atlantic City and LBI. We also for southern Sussex County, which is just out of our viewing area. But if you know anyone down in this area, southern Sussex County is under a tornado warning with one cell that has developed here. We will continue to monitor this. This tornado warning for southern Sussex County it's basically Millsboro, Frankfort on toward the shore points. That goes through the next couple of hours, or through the next 15-20 minutes or so. Let's talk about what to expect moving forward. We're in that next weather alert today with storms around through the first half of the day, then drying out, clearing out, much better weather for the weekend, and then we heat up again next week.
From the heart of Philly, this is CBS News Philadelphia. Good morning, everyone. I'm Jim Donovan. Let's send it right over to Kate Bilo for the next weather alert. Good morning, Kate.
Good morning, Jim. We are still in a next weather alert this morning, although things are starting to improve. The very last storm with a severe thunderstorm warning here over LBI is now just about to move offshore. Where you see the pink is still a severe thunderstorm watch. That will expire in about 3 minutes at 8 a.m. I do not think it will be extended, so things are going to get better. Scattered thunderstorms early. We may even see a pop-up midday before our cold front comes through, and then we clear it out later on this afternoon. Temperatures in the low to mid 80s here today, and lower humidity by tonight, with much nicer weather for the weekend. Chandler, let's send it over to you.
Thank you, Kate. We definitely are seeing an improvement out there, continuing to dry out, but unfortunately a new accident to tell you about in the northbound lanes in 95. This is the scene just after Packer Avenue. That left lane is blocked. You can see two vehicles, or a vehicle involved just ahead, police on scene, as well as a tow truck. And we are still following that overnight construction due to emergency storm drain repair. It just has one lane getting by the northbound direction 95 after Bridge Street. Delays, Jim, pouring back all the way into the city.